Hi everyone, Crystal here from Galaxy Finds, and I have an informational video for you all today. If you're finding my videos for the first time, feel free to check out my other thrift content and subscribe if you like that sort of thing. If you're here just because you're interested in Indy Clover, welcome, and I hope this is helpful. So please ignore my background. I tried to zoom in because I am doing some deep spring cleaning in my office shed this month. I'm trying to get in some new stuff, move out some old stuff. So that is kind of what this video is about too. So I just did 2 weeks at Indy Clover. If you have never heard of Indy Clover, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. And then I'm also going to give you all the details of what it's like to sell there, what it's like to shop there, their whole concept and everything about that. So I did make a lot of notes because I tend to get off track a lot, which I seem to already be doing. So we're going to focus on the notes. If you pop this on in the background, there's not really going to be anything here to watch besides my face. So this is more of podcast sort of thing while you're working. I know a lot of resellers watch this channel, so here we go. Indy Clover. So on their website, it says your favorite thrift and consignment store. And it is kind of a combo of both. This is directly from their website. It says, looking for thrift shopping near you, Indy Clover is more than just a thrift store. It is a vibrant community where you can sell used clothes and secondhand items and shop lucky finds. Whether you're cleaning out your closet or searching for vintage items or gently used clothes from your favorite brands, we make it simple and rewarding. You keep 2/3 of the sale price, making it the best way to give your treasures a second life while earning extra cash. So, that sounds lovely, which is what attracted me to it in the first place, because typical consignment stores do take more than that usually, and you don't have any sort of control over that. I had my booth at Indy Clover from March 15th through 28th of 2025, and I booked it at the end of January with one of my best reseller friends, Casey. She is Change of Seasons on Instagram, Poshmark, all the things. I will link her down below in my description. And those were the first available weeks at that point. So they do book up very quickly. So if you do have an Indy Clover in your area, make sure that if you want to check it out, you book it right away, because if you wait, you're going to be waiting even longer. So usually it's about 2 months booked out, they said, and obviously it's sort of a newer thing, so the more people that hear about it, the more people are going to check it out. I, being who I am and needing to know every detail of everything before I put time and money into it, I had a lot of questions, and I was searching around the interwebs looking for the answers, and there were not really a lot of videos or a lot of content, more than reels and stuff about Indy Clover. Most of them were kind of cutesy, here's my booth and blah blah. So that really didn't answer any of my questions. So I hope that people like me can benefit from this video. I had booth number 14 out of 63 at Indy Clover in Wakefield, Massachusetts. So there are 63 booths that are set up, and they are all exactly the same. They're the same size, which I am kicking myself that I didn't measure it because I don't exactly know what the measurements of the booth are. I think, I'll put out pictures and you can see, but I'm pretty sure that width-wise, they fit about 50 to 60 items, depending on what you have. And there is a shelf above that you can put things on, and there are technically 2 shelves below, so you can set it up however you'd like. So my first hurdle with signing up for Indy Clover was that they required you to have Venmo, and I don't have Venmo, and I've always been PayPal, and I'm not a fan of having a bunch of different payment apps and stuff. I don't like putting my info into everything. But that is a requirement. So if you do not have Venmo and you do not plan on getting Venmo, then you cannot sign up for an Indy Clover booth. They are also a cash-free store. So if you go in there, even if you buy something for $1, you have to use a card. And I don't know if you can pay with Venmo too. I mean, obviously, I didn't really ask that, but so there are 15 locations in the US right now. They are a franchise. So it's kind of cool how it is, because with a franchise, you are basically given like a plan and you are given all the tools to open it, and they all pretty much have to be the same. Like there are certain things that you can change, but I don't think there's a whole lot that you can change. You have to have the same basics, the same setup, the same lots of things. Because I think there are other locations that have more booths. The one that's in Massachusetts, I think, is one of the smaller ones, because in Massachusetts rent is very expensive. And where they started, which I think is Utah, because that's where the most locations are, like obviously they have more room out there. I've seen some of the Instagram posts from the Utah stores and they look a lot bigger, like the aisles are a lot wider and they probably have more booth setups. So with that said, I looked on the website to like get the story of how they started. It was two women that loved reselling their own clothing, and were looking, I guess they used to do like yard sales with their friends and stuff, and like kind of set it up together, and then they tried online selling on an Instagram page, but it wasn't working for them because they didn't love mailing things out, which I understand. Like, you know, getting to the post office every day is a pain in the butt. It's what I do. So they decided to start Indy Clover, which, you know, for people that love thrifting, but I think it's more geared towards younger people that can kind of get overwhelmed with a traditional thrift store. And I understand that as well, because a traditional thrift store, sometimes you will go in and you'll be like, oh, I saw that same item a month ago and it's still the same price, and, you know, nobody's bought it. It's just there, and it's just very repetitive. And then also like things are just all jumbled together. Like there's no rhyme or reason for a lot of thrift stores and how they sort things. So yeah, this has a more organized look to it because everybody has their own booth. So selling with Indy Clover, I went in twice before I had my booth set up, because I had a lot of questions, and hopefully I didn't annoy them too much. Everybody in that store was so nice and so chatty and answered all my questions, and I am very thankful for that. So the booth rental is $35 per week. Most places have a discount code, at least for the first week, but I think that they're allowed to set their own discount codes, because I've heard other people say that they got 50% off their first booth fee, and I only got 10%, but I don't know. I think it varies from store to store, whatever they feel like doing, or maybe since this is a newer store, they're only doing 10% now, and maybe they will do more later. If your first week you do not make that $35 back, they will cover the remainder for you. So like, say you only ended up making $10, you know, and they'll be like, okay, well, we'll give you the extra 25 for that. But it's for your first week only. So I think it's just more so you can get a feel for what it's like. So when I had gone in there, the person at the counter had said, booking for 2 weeks is what I recommend, because then you can really get a feel for it. After 1 week, it feels like it goes by really fast. And so 2 weeks is what we both signed up for. We were able to get booths right next to each other, which was nice, but you cannot pick your booth. But we did just request that if we could be next to each other, wherever it may be. And so I asked a bunch of questions about, you know, setting it up. So they give you tags. You can go in before your booth time and go in and request like a stack of tags, which is what I did, because I knew that I have to be extra and meticulous about everything. So I took the stack of tags into my office and I wrote out the prices. I wrote out a little description of what it was. Like, it was like American Eagle, long sleeve, crop top, or, you know, like, and then you put the size on it. And then when you go in, you put in your booth number. There's like a little thing in the corner to put your booth number on. So I did the majority of my tags beforehand, but a lot of people do them while they're there. They do let you borrow a tag gun. So if you've never used a tag gun, they'll show you how to use it. They're very easy to use. So you tag your own items, you make your own prices, and you put everything on hangers. They do provide the hangers as well. Then you go in on a Saturday morning, the first day of your booth, so that was the 15th for me, 8 o'clock in the morning, which is very early. For me at least, I'm not a morning person. I got there right at 8 a.m. and you have 2 hours, technically, like if you go over it's fine, but like you want to try to set up within those 2 hours before the store opens. Store opens at 10, you do from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. to set up your booth. I took the entire 2 hours, plus a little extra to help Casey out because she was running late because her kids had stuff going on. The takedown is from 7 to 9 p.m. on that following Friday. So if you only do 1 week, you go in Saturday and then the following Friday night you take your booth down. Since I did 2 weeks, I didn't have to go in until the Friday after that. You can opt for them to take your booth down for you. It is $10, which they take out of your earnings, but they will take it down and then you have to pick it up by like, I think Thursday that week. And a lot of people opted for this, which kind of surprised me because I was like, I mean, if you're not making a whole lot of money, then you're giving them another $10. But anyway, that's not here nor there at the moment. I'm getting distracted. You can discount every Thursday and Friday. You are able to set it yourself. You have to set it by Wednesday of that week. I set my first week only a discount on Friday, and then the following week I did a discount on Thursday and Friday. You don't have to discount though if you don't want to. It's completely up to you. You control all your prices. And yeah, so that is basically how you set up with selling. I wanted to go through the pros and the cons, and I'm going to start with the pros because I had a lot of them. It's like a set it and forget it basically. Like if you want to set up on Saturday morning and not touch it until your takedown, you can. Like you don't have to go back in, you don't have to control anything, you don't have to deal with customer service, you don't have to do anything. So a lot of people I think do that. I personally restocked twice because you can restock as many times as you'd like throughout the week. That is another pro. You can set up a Saturday morning and give it no more thoughts until you pack up on Friday. You don't have to do anything after setup if you don't want to. You control your own prices, unlike a regular consignment store, and it is short term. So like with a traditional consignment, it's usually like 3 months or whatever. This is 1 week, 2 weeks, however long you decide to put it up, and that's it. Everything is provided from price tags to hangers. You only have to bring your items, which is great, because if you were to set up a booth at, you know, a flea market or something, you'd have to bring your racks, you'd have to bring everything. Like you have to deal with all that. Then plus when people buy things, you have to deal with payment, you have to deal with customers. You don't have to do any of that. And here's another great perk. People can try on your items, which being an online only seller, that is always an issue. I try to put measurements with all my stuff, but there's always people that are upset that something doesn't fit them the way they'd like, or, you know, somebody won't buy it because they're not sure if it's going to fit or whatever. And Poshmark mostly is where I sell, and you can't return things for fit on there either. So if you buy an item and you're not a seller, you're kind of stuck with that item, you know. At Indy Clover, you can try on anything in the store, which is really helpful. So you could probably put a lot of stuff in your booth that either runs small or runs big, because people can look at it and be like, oh, it's an extra small, but it looks like it'll fit a medium, so why don't I try it on? And maybe you'll make a sale to somebody that you wouldn't have normally made a sale to. The employees pick up everything after people try it on. They return it back to your booth. They, they pick up stuff if it's fallen on the floor. You know, they tidy it up as much as possible. I mean, obviously there are 63 booths, so like there's only so much they can do. But every time I went in, the store was very clean. It was very well maintained. It looked cute. It looked nice. Like it wasn't like a thrift store where things are everywhere and things are all over the floor and things are dirty, and it's just, it was nice. It's a very like nice aesthetic in there. Another really great perk of the store is that they are very active on social media, especially Instagram and TikTok. They are constantly posting items from booths. They post, you know, just like cute little like trends and stuff, like, you know, TikTok trends, and they'll do it like in the store and post it with like trying on items. And I thought that was really cool because that really appeals to the younger audience that is mostly online and on social media, because they're going to see these things. Another really cool thing is you can set up your booth however you'd like. There were people that brought in shelving and, you know, brought in mostly jewelry and had them in little buckets, and it looked really cute. There are people that had like, I want to say, there's different types of like shelving that I saw, and like some of them had like antiques, some of them had like, you can literally bring whatever you want as long as it's not food, or I think, or electronics. But if you want to just fill your entire booth with books, you can do that. If you want to just sell jewelry, you can do that. If you want to just sell shoes, you can do that. So the possibilities are endless here, and I think that's really cool as well. All right, let's see what was next. Another great thing is that there's new items every week, so people are more enticed to check out the store every single week, because yeah, like in a traditional thrift store, after a week, sometimes they mark things down, but sometimes they're there for a very long time, and it's, you know, or there's no new things. Like some thrift stores just aren't on top of putting out new items, and you know, this is cool because it's every week there's new people putting up new booths. And every Saturday, at least at the one in Wakefield, they have local businesses come in and like set up like a little table at the front. So I think it was my first week there, they had a local bakery in there, and so there was a lady at the front and she was selling like donuts and muffins and all kinds of stuff, and that was cute. And then I think there was like a children's like sensory thing, like a business that does like sensory buckets and stuff. They had a setup the next week. And so every week it seems to be like a different local business, which is very cool as well, because that also brings in new people that probably wouldn't have gone in there, and they were like, oh, but I know this business, so maybe I'll go check out this store as well. That's cool. And yeah, so I also like that you can connect with people in booths around you. So I know, like at setup, we had talked to a few people. When I was breaking down my booth, like I connected with the lady next to me, and like we chatted about different stuff. And she was also a Poshmark seller, and so that was cool. So I will go into the cons, and I'm not saying anything bad about this store. I just want to be completely transparent, and I want people to have a realistic view of what to expect. So my first con is the hangers. Oh my god. So they use those, like, I don't have any around me, but those white, like, thick plastic hangers, which are fine hangers and whatever, but they're very bulky, and it makes it so you can fit less into your booth, and they're also very slippery. So if you have like a shirt with like a wide neckline, like it's gonna fall off that hanger, and there's nothing you can do about it. And for pants, they don't technically have pants hangers. They have little white clips that are made out of that same white plastic material that you clip to the shirt hanger, and it makes things very bulky in the booth. So if you have several pairs of pants, they like get connected and they twist, and like a lot of my stuff ended up like on the bottom of my booth because they were like people were trying to go through it, and but they were getting stuck on the other hang, you know. So that would be the first thing that I would change. But I'm looking at all of their Instagrams and stuff, like from all of the Indy Clovers, it looks like that's like the standard hanger they use. So I'm not sure if they're allowed to change that. But if they can, that would be the first thing I'd change. I'd get those like slim hangers with like the like velvet on them. That's what I pretty much use in my office. Like I use very skinny hangers. Fit so much stuff, like especially if you have like t-shirts or something, you can just fit so many more. Anyway, that's my first issue. The setup time is a bit chaotic, so I don't know if this is only because our store might be smaller than other stores, like the aisles are kind of narrow if you have somebody on each side setting up. Like a lot of times you're like bumping into people and like it's hard to like get all your stuff in there. I had 3 bags, like 3 IKEA bags, and I had it on like a little push cart. So I was able to put the push cart like towards the back of the store after I got everything off. But yeah, there was a lot of hustle and bustle in there. So, I mean, I don't know if there's anything they could even do about that because you got to set up and, you know, unless they did it like this side starts at 8 and this side starts at 8:30 or like, I don't know. I don't think there's any other option that I can really think of. So that's just, you know, whatever. It is what it is. We did also have like a clip shortage, like to hang up the pants. Like I went up and got like a handful of them when I started. I think I got maybe enough for like 4 things. And then there was no more. Like they were gone and I couldn't find any more. So I ended up having to just fold things and put them on like the bottom of my booth because there was no more hangers. And yeah, so that was slightly annoying. It is hard to see items on the top or bottom of the booth. I know that they are trying to give you as much space as possible, but like I'm 5'4" and like I had to like get on my tippy toes to like reach things in the way top of my booth. My friend Casey is only 5 feet tall, I'm pretty sure, or 5'1", and she literally could not reach anything on the top of her booth, so I had to like help her put stuff up there. And I feel like a lot of people that come into the store probably don't even look up there because they are shorter and their vision line is here. And you're like, not a lot of times you're looking up at the stuff at the top. So that I don't, like I said, I don't have the answers. I'm just giving you my constructive criticism here. So the lower shelf also requires you to like literally like get on the floor. Like I had to like kneel on the floor because there is a bottom shelf that I use just for books because I felt like that was the best use of that. And then there's like a shelf above that. And I put some shoes on it, but I felt like nobody saw them. Let's see. So having anything that's longer than like a midi dress is probably not a good idea because there were a lot of people that had prom dresses because it's obviously like prom season, and they were literally just like on the floor. Like the bottom of the dresses were just on the floor because I'm pretty sure the place you hang up was probably about eye level for me, so I'd say it's probably about 5 feet off the floor. But if you have a super long dress, like a maxi dress or a prom dress, it just hangs on the floor. So then it gets dirty and like, you know, it's just, I had a maxi dress when I first set it up, and then I ended up taking it out for the second week because I felt like it just looked messy. Another con is that they don't keep track of what sells. So if you don't have like a very detailed list of what you brought in, you probably don't know what's sold. And you might never know what's sold unless you like go through your booth and take notes. So I didn't really keep track. Like I took pictures of my booth and then I was able to like kind of compare the pictures and be like, oh, that item is no longer there or whatever. But they'll send you a text when something sells, which is nice. And you go through and you're like, oh, something sold for $4, but you don't know what that was. So that would be annoying. I think the one thing that you could do for that is to keep the price tag. Like you would have to have like a box, like a numbered box probably, and just like, oh, something sold from booth 4, put that in the box, put that in booth 6, put that in booth 20. Like, yeah, it would take a little more time and effort probably, but that's the only way I can see being able to do that, unless there's like, because they don't have barcodes on anything. It's obviously just the tag. I'm trying to see if there's a tag. Yeah, here's one of my tags. This was from the maxi dress, I think. Yeah, Torrid maxi dress. And I took it out of my booth because, yeah, it was too long. But this is the only tag you'll have. It says Indy Clover on one side, and then you have your handwritten stuff on this side. So if they were to like take the tags, because you can't return anything there, so I guess people don't really need the tag. If you took the tags and just kept them, I don't know. I don't know if that would be too much maintenance, but it would be nice to just know. Another con is like you can't pick your booth location. So, like I said, I had requested that we just be next to each other, like if possible. But they were like, no guarantees, but we'll put a note in there. So luckily we were able to be next to each other. But there was a lady at the end of our row. So we were in the first row. I was booth 14. Casey was booth 13. And she said like she felt like nobody saw her booth because she was at the way back of the store. She's the furthest back booth there is, and you don't really walk by it. So like I think it was my booth was kind of the end, like booth 14, and then across from me was another booth, and then it was like you turn around and go down the next aisle, but there were still like 3 more booths that went further back into the store. So those 3 booths probably didn't get as much foot traffic. I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's... You'd really have to do some research on that. But obviously the booths at the front of the store get more people buying stuff. So if you're in, right at the front door when you walk in, if you're one of those booths, you probably get more sales. I would assume so at least, but you'd have to do a study about that to find out. Yeah, so your sales report basically it's very basic. They tell you how many items sold, they tell you how much sold. They don't even tell you how much each item sold for. Like I just happen to do like screenshots like of my app every time something sold so I could kind of like put it together myself. But yeah, so you don't even, it doesn't say like, one item sold at $5, one item sold at $6. Nothing. It just says you sold this many items, you made this much money. So that is another con too. I think that it would be nice to at least get some sort of detailed report at the end of the week. So, let's see. So, okay, so another pro but con. So they did start doing live sales like the week that we started, which is kind of cool. They do a live sale on Wednesdays, live story sale. So it's not like live selling, but it's like they take a picture and say, this item is this amount of money. You can buy it and either have it shipped or pick it up in the store. So, which I thought was very cool. But both weeks, they did not feature one item of mine. And I had a lot of good stuff. Like I had like new tag stuff. I had trendy brands. I had seasonal stuff. Like, so, like, I don't know how they picked the items. I don't know. They said they did it like based on, a trending, like whatever trending thing they did. I don't know if mine just didn't really fit in with what they had, but yeah, neither week they picked any of my stuff. So I was a little like salty about that, but I did think it was very cool that they do Instagram sales. But I think that's it for cons. And I had like a little section here, like what I would change, which I kind of went over with like the hangers, the bottom shelf thing. Like if there was a way to customize booths a little better, like if you're just going to sell books, if you could like even just put like a little thing that has like shelves in it into the booth that like kind of is made for that booth size. Like, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know how any of that works, but it would be cool to have like ways to customize that are just kind of like you borrow them from the store and just give them back at the end of the week. Or like a little jewelry thing. Like I'm gonna try to find my jewelry rack because I did make some keychains and some barrettes and I had them in little baggies, but also those were hard to see because they have little magnetized clips you can put on the top of your booth, but it like blocked the top of the hangers. So like when people were trying to scroll, like go through my stuff, like they were hitting the bags, I felt like they were just in the way. So I don't know if that had anything to do with whatever my sales or, yeah, another thing, keep tags when an item sells, just to like keep track of how much items sold for and how many items sold. I also thought of a cool thing that like I feel like wouldn't be too much more maintenance for the store. Like if like that franchise was able to do this like throughout all their stores. Just put a section when you sign up for your booth to write like, this is my aesthetic or vibe or whatever. These are the brands that I'm going to be selling. These are the sizes I'm going to be selling. These are the items. Like if but you could go to as much detail as you wanted to, but just every week they would just kind of be like, oh, these are the booths that are like booth 1 has Abercrombie and Aerie and Lulu's in sizes small and medium. You know what I mean? So like people could go to the store and be like, oh, I need to shop this booth, this booth, this booth, this booth because they have what I'm looking for. I just thought that would be kind of a cool thing to do, so people don't get so overwhelmed when they go in there, because 63 booths is a lot, and I'm sure most people do not look at all 63 booths because that would take forever. So, and then also like when people do a discount, like add that, like so every Indy Clover page, like they have their own store page. So Indy Clover Wakefield has its own page. Indy Clover in place in Texas has their own page. Like, but then there's like a main Indy Clover page. But like I'm saying, for the personalized store pages, if they just had like, click a link, these are the booths that are in here this week. This is what's selling this week. I think that would be a cool idea. I don't know if they could implement it, but it was an idea. Yeah. So I don't know if they would ever do this either. Like have a area where you could rent like a smaller section, because they do have like a wall where they do like, I don't know, like mass made stuff, like, you know, stuff that they sell on their own that's not from like random people. They have like hair clips and like little pouches and makeup stuff and, you know, just like little stuff. But if say they had like a little place where you could rent like a 1 foot cube and put like jewelry in or something for like a cheaper price. I don't know if that would ever happen either, but another thought. Overall thoughts is I love the concept of the store. I think it really is taking off. I feel like people are excited about it. People really love it. That they've already like established a good client base. Like they say people come in every week looking at the new stuff. So that's awesome. The store is super cute. Like the aesthetic is like the pink and orange and the checkered, and it's very cute. It's very clean. It's nice to walk through. It's nice to look at. All the stuff is like, it's very cute. So, it can be a bit overwhelming, like I said, but it's less overwhelming than a thrift store and things are way more organized. And I just feel like there's a better, more welcoming vibe than a thrift store. And the staff was very friendly. Everybody was so nice. Like a few of the girls, like when I was there setting up, we would chat and whatever. And like we talk about, you know, thrifting and all that kind of stuff. And it was just really cool. It was cool to like get to know them a little bit, because they do have like a smallish staff. I guess that's kind of a part of the franchise. Like they don't need a huge staff. There might be like 10 people that work there, plus the franchise owner and stuff. So, and I did meet the franchise owner, I think on the day I set up. She was there in that morning. And I'm hoping that there's going to be more popping up over the US if there's not one near you. I mean, if you're looking into franchising, actually, they did post that it costs $164,500 to open this franchise, which for a franchise is not a lot. I mean, you hear that number and you're like, oh no. But like, usually for a franchise, you need like $500,000. And you need a lot more stuff and a lot more staff and a lot more training. And I feel like this is such like a simple concept, and a lot of times like the customer's really doing the work for you because they're setting it up, they're tagging things, whatever. So there's less overhead cost. I think in my area, at least, the problem is finding an affordable place that's large enough to put this kind of store into, because I think the one in Wakefield is probably about as small as you could really go, unless you just have less booths. But then it's going to be even harder for people to get into because it's already a 2-month waiting list. So yeah, like I really dig this concept. I told a lot of people about it. I posted it on my Instagram, posted it on my TikTok. Like, so many people asking me about it because I think our location opened September, I think. So that's like 6 months ago, which, and I think the overall like place was opened in 2022. So, I mean, this is a very young concept, like a very new store. And I think it will improve as time goes on, but I think it's a great idea. So my numbers I wanted to get to. And if you're not a reseller, you probably don't care about this stuff. It's probably not as important to you, but I know a lot of my reseller friends have asked me about this, if it was worth it or whatever. So I'm going to say I did not make as much money as I hoped to. And I did enjoy setting it up. I thought it was really fun to do. It was a new experience for me. I've never done live selling, like live in-person sales with my clothing. I've only done online sales, so this is new. And I replenished my booth 2 times. Once on the Monday right after I set up. So I set up on Saturday, and then that Monday I came in and put more things in there, and then that next Friday, I came back in on Friday evening, right before they closed, and I like took some things out and put some new things in, and yeah, went from there. I had items from extra small to 3XL, and I had item dividers that I had bought on Amazon a super long time ago, and I was like, oh yeah, I should use those. So I felt like that helped me keep stuff more organized. I also like separated men's stuff. I had like, I don't know, maybe 10 men's items. And then I had a whole bunch of books at the bottom. And then I brought a bunch of shoes. I brought adult shoes and kids shoes. And all of my items were under $25 because I felt like that's more of the range that people are willing to spend in a store like that. Like, since it does have like a thrift store concept, people don't want to spend a ton of money. So I priced things low, and I think I only had like 3 things that were priced over $20, and they were like special occasion dresses. And most things were priced like $15 or lower. I had, shirts from $6 to $8. I had shoes, like kid shoes, from $6 to $15, depending on what they were. So everything was really cheap. And I did not sell one pair of shoes, so keep that in mind. Okay, so 2 weeks booth cost was $63.76. That was with my discount code. And week 1, I made, with all the things I sold $73.25 worth of items. I sold, how many items did I sell? I sold 8 items, I think. I wrote this down somewhere. Yeah, I sold 8 items the first week, and after fees, I made $44.32. So, not great. I was hoping for at least $100, like, really hoping. But, yeah, $44.32. And I know Casey and I clashed with this, but I take out, like, the rental fee after that, and she said that that's a whole separate thing for her, so she's not counting them in the same thing. But if you minus the rental fee after what I made $12.44 my first week there. Not great. Second week, I made $69.50 before commission, $41.90 after. My week 2 total after booth fee, which is $31.88 each week, $10.02. So my 2-week total before booth fee, $86.22, and my 2-week booth fee after, $22.46. Not great. I was like, if I had even made $100 profit 2 weeks, that would be nice, but I ended up selling, I think 9, so I sold 17 items altogether. And I made $22.46. So not great. But I would say for a reseller, if you are going to do this and bring personal items, bring items that your friends and family give you for free, because as a reseller, we all have those, like, here, I'm just gonna donate those, but you can have them to sell. And then some of the items in there are just not worth photographing and steaming and whatever inventory crap. We all have those items. So bring stuff like that, but like try to bring trendy stuff, try to bring stuff that is seasonal, and try to bring stuff that's in good condition. Like all of my stuff was in perfect condition. There were no holes, no stains, no nothing. They were all like, I had everything from Lulu's to Vineyard Vines to Aerie, Abercrombie, American Eagle jeans. I had Torrid. I had all kinds of trendy mall brands mostly. And then for men's items, I had some graphic tees. I had Star Wars. I had Volcom. I had all kinds of stuff. I brought a bunch of kids' shoes because my sister-in-law had given me some of my niece's old shoes. I had Nikes, I had Uggs, I had some really cute ones from Old Navy that I marked super cheap. None of them sold. All right, so I did my first week, I did 25% off on Friday only. And I did make more money my first week. And my second week, I did 25% off on Thursday and 50% off on Friday. And I did not sell anything on Friday for 50% off, which is kind of crazy because, things were marked from $3 to $15 mostly. And I did sign up for another 2 weeks in May. And I think I'm just going to rethink my strategy. I'm still going to do it, but I'm thinking of bringing like a small bookcase, and I did actually sell some books. A lot of books I got at the bins, so real cheap. At the bins, I think, is it 25 cents a pound for books, so like that's a really good way to sell things there. Also, I sold a lot of my own personal books that I've read, and I did not have a use for them anymore, and I'd had them just sitting on my bookcase for years and just did not want to read them again. So, yeah, I'm not bringing shoes again. And Casey didn't sell any shoes either. She did 75% off both days, Thursday, Friday. And I think she made like $70 after fees or something. She made more than I did, but she definitely, she didn't do as well as she thought either. So I'm not sure if people just weren't shopping because the weather's been really crap. It's been really cold and rainy and whatever. Maybe May will be better. I'm also thinking maybe I'll just price things higher and do a higher discount. I don't know. Is that going to be more attractive to people if I price things at $20 and offer 75% off opposed to marking something for $10 and offering 50% off? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm really going to have to think about it, but I think that's a really good place to source if you're a reseller. Go in on Thursdays and Fridays and go to the booths that have 50 to 75% off and fill up, Like I went in Friday before I packed up my booth. I bought 3 pairs of shoes, 2 pairs of pants, and what else did I buy? I feel like I bought something else too, but a lot of them were like things that I was looking at for myself, but if they don't fit, obviously I'm going to sell them. But I did buy one of the pairs of shoes I definitely am keeping, and 2 pairs of shoes I'm selling. They're too big. But yeah, like some people just want to get rid of things and they will mark them 75% off, and they're really great items. So you should go in there and check them out. And yeah, so I would also say don't get discouraged if you don't sell anything out of so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I feel like are the only days that things sell, because Monday through Wednesday I did not make any sales both weeks. And I think those are just days that people won't go in, because Thursday, Friday are discount days, and then Saturday I think is busy because it's new items and people want to see what's new. And then Sunday people will go in because it's a weekend and they're hanging around downtown, because our location is in a downtown area, which is like really nice. I think it has a really good location. So it's very walkable, and there's like restaurants and coffee shops, and there's like a walking trail down the street and everything. So I think it's a good location. But I just wanted to give you my honest thoughts. If you're gonna try out Indy Clover, like, this is what to expect probably. If you're in a different location, maybe it'll be a little different, but this is my location. It's the only one on the East Coast. So I hope more of them pop up around me. That would be really cool, because we don't have buy sell trade stores near us. Like, I know a lot of you have like Plato's Closet and Clothes Mentor and all those places. We don't have those around me. There's Plato's Closet, but they're like an hour away from me, which is a pain in the butt, because if you bring a bucket there and they buy like 4 things from you, it's just like a waste of a trip. So if I'm up in that area, yeah, maybe I'd go there, but I'm not gonna, you know. I feel like there is definitely a need for this type of store around here. So if you got this far, thank you so much for watching. I know it was very long, but I wanted to put all the information I could fit into this video for you all, and let me know if you have any other questions. I probably forgot something because, you know, I happen to get distracted. But thank you for watching, and give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you later. Bye.